Good afternoon. Welcome, everyone. Today we're going to be discussing how you can modernize your SIEM in the cloud with Azure Sentinel. I'm kind of excited. It looks like they bumped us up to a bigger room, which is very, very cool. I certainly think that Azure Sentinel is going to be transformative, and I've been really excited at the level of enthusiasm and the response that I've gotten over the last couple of days here at Microsoft Ignite. It seems that many of you feel similarly. So with that, we'll go ahead and jump right in. We've only got 45 minutes. I'll try not to move too fast, but we do have a fair amount of stuff that I want to get through today. So today, organizations like yours are faced with this incredibly difficult task of trying to protect your expanding digital estate from increasing cyber threats. The move to the cloud and the mobile workforce have pushed the border of your estate beyond the physical network boundary. Your data and your systems and your infrastructure are everywhere. And of course, this creates some pretty significant challenges for your security operations teams who are tasked with trying to protect that expanded digital estate. As your estate grows, so does the volume of security data. In fact, 76% of organizations report an increase in security data over previous years. And much of this is coming from the cloud, which changes the dynamic a bit in terms of how you collect and analyze that data. Pumping it into on-prem systems with all of the deployment and maintenance overhead that comes along with that often doesn't make sense. And I believe that that volume of security data is just going to continue to grow and grow and grow. Not only do we have this extended estate, all of which is emitting security signals that we need to collect and analyze, but what is the one thing that's going to fuel ML? It's data. And not only do we need more data to inform those models, but we need a greater variety of data. So we need more signals and we need more diverse signals. And I expect that that's going to not only continue to increase the volume of security data, but perhaps even hockey stick that in the relatively near future. So organizations are trying to shore up their defenses, and as a result, they are deploying literally dozens of different security products and services within their organizations. These are producing a lot of alerts, but unfortunately in isolation, these products are generating relatively high false positives rates, or at least they can. And there's not a lot of guidance across these various alerts to help you figure out which of them require your immediate attention, which ones do you invest time in investigating and researching, and which are not as high severity, or not as likely to be the result of a real attack. And as a result, we see here 44%, this number really just is staggering to me, 44% of alerts are never investigated, 44%. So just imagine what is falling through the cracks as a result of that. And the final thing I'll point out is, of course, as you guys know, there's a global shortage of security analysts. That's why, in many cases anyway, those alerts are not getting responded to. The recent study says that there'll be 3.5 million unfilled security jobs by 2021. That's a massive number, creates huge challenges for security operations centers. So with the introduction of Azure Sentinel, which GA'd just a couple of weeks ago, we really believe that we can change the equation for security operations teams by delivering an intelligent cloud-native SIEM. So one of the main things that Security Center, or Azure Sentinel, should say, is designed to do is to really meet your defenders where they are and deliver instant value to them. And as a result, it's got hundreds of built-in dashboards or workbooks and detections and hunting queries and analytics and playbooks, things that they can use off the shelf on day one to improve the effectiveness of their teams. We also provide guided hunting and investigation experiences. We'll look at those in a few minutes that help your security analysts, regardless of their skill level, to get their work done. Now, of course, Azure Sentinel offers all of the extensibility that your teams need as well. The ability to customize and create your own analytics and workbooks. And it even integrates with professional-grade tools like Jupyter notebooks for the truly advanced security analysts inside your team. And it's easy to get started. You can do that with a single workload or perhaps all of your cloud workloads, but certainly can extend beyond that as well. Secondly, and we talked about this, I couldn't have said it probably more strongly, the growing volume of security data that exists out there today. And Azure Sentinel enables you to collect and store and analyze that security data at cloud scale. So it's going to scale automatically as your security data volume and compute needs grow, whether that's incremental growth or if you've got a burst, you need to ingest more data as part of a particular incident response. And there are no infrastructure costs or upfront commitments. You don't have to buy servers and put them in your on-premise environment every time you add a new data source or multiple data sources, and you only pay for what you use. So this really changes dramatically the equation that many of you are facing with traditional on-premises SIEM technologies. And finally, Azure Sentinel uses AI and automation as a force multiplier for your SOC. It enables you to detect threats that may have been missed otherwise. It enables you to fuse alerts into actionable prioritized incidents to help reduce the alert fatigue. So instead of going from those 44 alerts that aren't investigated, you get just a manageable handful of them that are really actionable, and we provide guided experiences around to help you quickly understand the scope and take action. And AI really applies across the spectrum there, not only in detection, but how we think about creating incidents and building incident investigation experiences for you. It's really baked into lots of places within Azure Sentinel. And then the final piece is automation, which lots of folks talk about, but we don't see it in practice being implemented or implemented in meaningful ways in a lot of enterprise SOCs. And here, automation is really built in to Azure Sentinel in the way that we really think will enable you to apply it to manual processes and to speed response. So Azure Sentinel does this all by delivering an end-to-end solution for your security operations team. And that starts, of course, with collecting all of your data, but not just collecting that data, but getting insights into that data. And we do that through workbooks, which you'll see in a few minutes, and the ability to easily query that data. You can begin applying analytics to that data to find threats that require your attention. You can hunt through all of that data using built-in exploratory queries. And we even have tools like bookmarks and live stream, which help you to track notable events and monitor for new activities. You can manage and investigate incidents using graphs and timeline views. Again, we'll spend a few minutes walking through some of those in a minute. And finally, automate investigation and remediation playbooks. And I want to highlight there that we're not just talking about using playbooks for remediation. We really need to think about kind of across the set of work that you're doing in your SOC, how can we apply automation to that? And all of this is being powered by a community of security analysts. And it's backed by Microsoft security researchers who are leveraging their vast experience protecting Microsoft services at massive scale. They contribute analytics and queries and workbooks and playbooks and much more, which you'll see are kind of built into the Azure Sentinel experiences. So I'm going to take you through 10 steps today to modernize your SIEM using Azure Sentinel. Brought a little bit of structure to our discussion. Hopefully these will be pretty actionable for you, so you can use this as a bit of a guide when you get back to your office and you're ready to go implement Azure Sentinel. This will be a sort of a guidebook for you to achieve that. And as we're stepping through these, just a little bit of a preview, I am shamelessly giving away prizes along the way to keep you engaged. So you'll see some of those pop up along the way. So don't leave, hang in there. It'll be worth it, I hope. We're going to start with visibility. And again, number one thing there is to be able to collect all of your security data at scale from any source. Super, super, super important. And that starts by collecting data from not only your on-premises environments, but all of your cloud environments, not just your Microsoft clouds, but your other clouds as well. And so we offer a number of ways to do that. For Azure and Microsoft 365, so being able to get your security alerts and activity data from those sources, you can enable them in literally one click. I'll show you how to do that in a minute. So those are just built in, as you might expect, baked in to Azure Sentinel. Super, super easy to turn those on. We also offer a series of collectors for both Windows and Linux. And these can collect a variety of different kinds of logs. We prefer, or often, those are leveraging the common event format, Ceph, if you're familiar with that. That's sort of a standard way that lots of security technologies sort of format their data for ingestion and SIEM and other kinds of technologies. That's a pretty common way to ingest your data into Azure Sentinel, is using collectors and the Ceph format. We also have a couple of specialized connectors that are available for your threat intelligence data. One of those is through the Microsoft Graph Security API. And you can do that. You can call the API directly to send indicators into Azure Sentinel. But we also have native integrations with a number of threat intelligence platforms, Threat Connect, MISP, which is an open source solution, and many others. So if you're already using one of those tools, they're already integrated. You turn on the connector and you can send your threat intelligence data through that. And then we just announced this week support for a new taxi data collector, which enables you to send data into our taxi client in the STIX format. So if you guys are familiar, STIX taxi, kind of a standard protocol and schema for threat intelligence data, and we now support that as well. And then finally, you can send data into our REST APIs. Those go into custom log tables and Azure Sentinel. So think about just the wide variety of different security data that exists out there. Certainly we can ingest those logs via the API if the other methods don't support them already. So that data is coming in through those different data connectors, and it's going into Azure Monitor Log Analytics. So we leverage log analytics as our underlying data store. It's a amazing platform, processes 2 petabytes, I think, of data a day, something like that. So high-scale log analytics platform sort of operates as the basis for Azure Sentinel. And when Sentinel adds all of the security analytics that run on top of that, the experiences that we're going to look at today. So once you have your data flowing in, I mentioned earlier the ability to get instant insights from that data, and workbooks are one way to do that. So most data connectors come with workbooks, and there's a gallery of those that you can leverage that are built sometimes by the folks that built the data connectors or just contributed by other community experts. So you can choose from this gallery of workbooks. You can also customize or create your own. You can take advantage of rich visualization options. This can even include, I saw today, I wasn't aware of this, that you can create graph visualizations. You can also do maps. There's a really cool blog post that got published recently about how to do graphs inside of Azure Sentinel using workbooks. So lots of different interesting ways to do visualizations using workbooks. And they're all interactive, so you can quickly filter your data and pivot your views. So a great tool for your security analysts. And of course, you can use those to gain insight not only into one data source, but where they really become more powerful is when you mash up data from multiple data sources. That's where you begin to get probably the most interesting insights in your workbooks is when you do that. And then we did announce a number of new data connectors. Most of those have workbooks associated with them as well. This week, there's Barracuda and Citrix and a new data connector for F5 and Trend Micro and others, and of course that taxi connector that I mentioned a few minutes ago. So with that, we're going to pop over and take a look at this in the demo. Okay, welcome to Azure Sentinel. This is the overview dashboard. We're going to move directly, though, from the overview into data connectors. So as I mentioned earlier, they're data connectors for virtually all of the Microsoft security cloud services, I should say, including the security services. Also other clouds, so we can see here that Amazon Web Services, there's a connector available for that. And at a glance, you can sort of see what is connected. Those are the green connectors versus the gray ones that haven't yet been enabled. You can also get a sense of the data volume that's flowing through that connector, when was the last data received, and any related content, in this case, workbooks or queries. So that's sort of the structure of the data connectors. Again, that's other cloud services, Microsoft Cloud Services, Microsoft Security Technologies. Here's the new Barracuda Cloud Gen firewall that I mentioned earlier. I also wanted to point out, we talked a moment ago about the common event format, the CEF. So if you don't see your product or service on this list, there's a decent chance that they can be enabled using this kind of generic CEF connector. A lot of security technologies support this already, and so it's available as well for those services that don't yet have direct connectors. And I wanted to point out the new threat intelligence connector. That's this guy here. And as I mentioned, this enables you to configure your taxi server to send indicators in the 620 format into Azure Sentinel. Once you get your threat intelligence in, you can use it to do detections, to match that up against your event data. You can integrate it into your hunting queries and that sort of thing. So we'll look at some examples of how you can leverage that earlier. So you can easily configure all of your taxi connections here in the new taxi data connector. And then finally, I wanted to click in and show you a workbook. One I think is kind of good is the Microsoft Cloud App Security has an interesting view. So if we click over, I've already got this loaded here for us. So here we can see lots of different ways to sort of visualize the data, right? We can see the latest discovery alerts. We can see different alerts from the Microsoft Cloud Apps security solution by alert name. We get metrics views. One just kind of quick thing I wanted to show you that I thought sort of demonstrated the ability to easily do this filtering is here we see users sorted by the volume of downloads that they're doing. So certainly it looks like Megan has a significant amount of downloads, certainly more than her peers. And so we can click on her in the graph, or in the chart, I should say. And you didn't see because my screen is kind of blown up, but the rest of the workbook sort of pivoted to show me specific information about Megan's activities, as opposed to earlier we're kind of looking across all of our customers. So just one really, really simple example. Again, I encourage you to check out the blog that talks about mapping. There's some really cool things that you can do with map visualizations here as well. And the final thing I wanted to show you is once you've got all of this data flowing into Azure Sentinel, it's all there for you to query using KQL. So we'll just take a quick look at that. We can see all of the data tables that are available. We can see our common security log, for example, security alert data that's flowing in. I'm going to run a very, very simple saved query here just to give you a quick idea of what that looks like. Just going to look at sign-in logs. So very, very quickly, it's returning a set of results to me, and I can see those in the table format, and I can click in to view additional information. Got a little bigger for you. Additional information there. What I thought was interesting is if I pivot to look at the chart view, Smart Diagnostics has identified an anomaly for me. So just by clicking in here, I get the benefit of, I mean, yes, I can look at it and sort of see that something unique is going on. But if I click in even further, I get a detailed information about the specific patterns that are unique here. Tried to make this big so you could see it, but it's not great from a visualizations perspective. Okay, so I can see, kind of specifically where we've got a deviation from the pattern, and I can run to get additional information, and then I can see the actual results again back here in my table view. So I mentioned earlier the ability to do hunting, and one of the things that you can leverage to help you with hunting and investigation is bookmarks. So when you find an interesting or a notable event, you can add it as a hunting bookmark. So you can sort of save this event for later investigation. And I'll show you some things that you can do with it here in a few minutes. So you can very, very quickly search over all of this data using KQL. You can bookmark interesting things once all of that data is flowing through. Okay, first prize opportunity. There is a $50 Microsoft Store gift card on the line. One disclaimer, most of our government attendees are not able to accept gifts, so if that is you, I'd ask that you please decline. But I would love to hear. If anyone knows, step up to, there's several mics around. Feel free to pop up to a mic and let me know if you know the answer to this. What data can you ingest in Azure Sentinel at no cost?
365.
Office 365 activity logs, you're a winner. Step back, come back at the end of the presentation and we will give you your gift card. And thank you, sir. There'll be many other opportunities throughout, so we'll hope to catch you on the next one. So yes, Azure activity logs, Office 365 activity logs, and alerts from Microsoft Threat Protection are available in Azure Sentinel at no cost. So you have no reason not to stand up Sentinel instance and connect this data to get that instant value that we just talked about. So moving on to analytics. So we've got our data flowing through, we got some instant insights from our workbooks, and now we want to do something more meaningful. We want to get some detections operating on top of this data. And you do that in analytics. So again here, there are hundreds of built-in analytics rules that you can choose from. You can also customize and create your own rules using KQL queries. And there's a nice little wizard process that we'll look at here in a minute that kind of steps you through that experience. So these can be kind of simple rule-based analytics, but they can also be much more complex. You can do correlation of your event data, and there are dozens of built-in rules that will help you to correlate your event data with threat intelligence. So again, you can now get all of that threat intelligence data into Azure Sentinel, and out of the box, there are a set of detection rules that you can run on top of that. So if there's network traffic going to or from an IP address that is part of your threat intelligence data, you can use that to fire a detection. And then also this week, we announced a new opportunity to do matching of your event data with Microsoft Threat Intelligence. We're starting with a scenario that enables you to match URL data with network event data. And again, that's kind of leveraging this vast set of intelligence that we have here at Microsoft. We think is part of the secret sauce that enables us to protect ourselves and to help protect you. And now you can leverage that for the first time in Azure Sentinel as well. One other thing I wanted to point out, because automation is a theme that sort of is pervasive throughout Sentinel, is you can use these detections to automatically trigger playbooks. So if a particular kind of detection fires, you may want to automatically take action to remediate or maybe to gather additional information that might be helpful for investigation. And so you can just have those triggered automatically based on the detections. And we'll look at, again, how you kind of build those. One of the kinds of detections that are available in Azure Sentinel leverage ML, and they do that with the goal of increasing the catch rate without increasing the noise. So there are built-in ML models, and you can turn these on. No experience is required. You don't have to know anything about ML. Once your data is flowing through, those models are going to begin to learn and detect things inside your environment. And there's a couple of these in particular that I wanted to call out. One leverages off-the-shelf machine learning models for identifying suspicious logins across Microsoft identity services. So we've taken this, this model, we've used transferred learning from that existing model to detect anomalous SSH access within your environment. So that's where we're looking at a single source of data, but we're applying ML learning to detect real threats out of that data. The other example that I wanted to highlight is using machine learning to do fusion. It's the term we sort of coined to describe this, which is to take distinct data sets and to use ML to fuse those together in meaningful ways. And you can see from the chart on the right-hand side here kind of the impact that fusion can have for you. So in this example, we started out with literally billions of different events. Identity-based events, Office, Azure events, billions of events. And from that, each of these solutions looked for anomalies, likely fired a detection or alert based on that. And that's great, but we still see millions of those, which are way, way, way too many for your SOC team to analyze and respond to. It's definitely, these are going in the 44% bucket, right? But we've applied graph-powered ML and probabilistic kill chain to help detect threats. So basically, we're fusing these together, but we're trying to figure out what are important patterns in terms of ordering, sequencing, right? So thinking about how these different things relate to the kill chain and fusing them together based on that machine learning into a single incident. And then we will have the ability to bring your own ML models in the near future for those of you who are further along in your ML journey. And with that, we're going to pop over for a quick demo. All right, so we're going to start in analytics. That's where we configure the rules. And we've got many of them already running. Uh-oh. Oh, bingo. Okay, thank you. Okay, back in analytics, we see a list of alert rules here that we can enable. And kind of a blown up view is squishing everything together a little bit, but we can see that there are different types of rules. There are scheduled rules, we'll look at those in a moment. There are some that come out of the box with Microsoft. These enable you to do things like you may want to automatically promote all high severity detections from Microsoft Defender Advanced Threat Protection, for example, into incidents. You can do that. There are fusion-based rules here. We just talked about fusion and its ability to help you detect from those millions of signals real threats that require response. But I want to pick a kind of more of a straightforward one here. Let me search. To show you how easy it is to enable these. Okay, so here I'm looking at a template. I've already got this in use, but because I can create new detections, I can customize the query as I'm doing that. It still exists in my template library. There are other kinds of detections that I can only turn on or off, like the ML detections. I can't really customize those detections, so once I've turned that template on, it moves out of my template library and into my active list. So I mentioned earlier the ability to use the wizard in Azure Sentinel to create these detections. And so that starts with very basic information. What is the alert? Name of the alert, a short description. All of the detections can be tagged according to the MITRE ATT&CK framework. So you can define one or multiple stages here. You can set the severity, turn it on or off. And here you get into the underlying query that's really powering this detection. And we can see here that that's looking at threat intelligence data. It's making sure that that threat intelligence is recent, it hasn't expired yet, that it's active. It's looking for only IOCs that have the entities that we want. In this case, we're looking for URLs to match against. It's joining that with syslog data, and it's extracting out the URL from the syslog message. And when it finds a match with the URL, threat intelligence type, it's generating an alert. So I want to talk just for a moment about this next stage, which is mapping those two entities. So entities are very important for investigation, and you'll see that in a minute when we get into the investigation graph. They enable us to create relationships and to link together these different alerts and events that are firing across your organization. So as much, if the data that we're looking at here contains those entities, it's really important to map them. So we'll see here that, for example, I don't have the URL entity mapped. It's a brand new entity we just launched, but I'm going to do that here. And I'll show you the power of that in a moment. Some other things we can do are determine a frequency by which we want this to run. We can set a threshold. We only want this alert to fire if we've got multiple instances that are matching, that sort of thing. And here's where we can tie a playbook to that. So here we're looking for TI that matches malicious URL data that we have in our threat intelligence data store. And so maybe we want to run a playbook that's going to block that IP address if an alert fires. Or block the URL. So I can choose this block URL playbook as part of my analytics process. It's going to automatically validate that my query is valid, and then I can go ahead and create that. So then, as matches occur, I will see those represented as incidents, which we'll look at here in a moment. And time for another prize. Who could tell me what the Microsoft Threat Intelligence Center names activity groups after? This one's a hard one. And I was going to give you a clue when we were looking at analytics, but I forgot. Is anyone going to give me a guess? Any guess gets you a gift card. Step on up to the mic.
Over here?
Oh.
Yeah,
Okay. What is
elements?
it? Elements, you are correct. Very good. Elements of the periodic table are used to name activity groups. And a recent blog post highlighted activity by phosphorus to target users that relate to the US presidential campaign. What I forgot to show you, though, was that the Microsoft Threat Intelligence team contributed analytics rules to Sentinel, and so we have rules baked into Sentinel now to detect for phosphorus activity. So they take the learning that they got and they build that into Azure Sentinel to benefit you. Okay, moving on to hunting. So I mentioned earlier that you can also hunt over this data, and we built a guided experience to help you through that process. So there is the ability to run these built-in threat hunting queries, and again, you can do that without any prior knowledge. Now, of course, you can customize these queries as well. You can create your own using KQL, so it has all the extensibility you want, but you can just run them out of the box. Again, these things were developed by our Microsoft security experts and contributed by community members. And they help you to identify suspicious activities by sort of querying over this massive amount of data that you have. And when you find interesting things, you can integrate them into your investigation experiences. I'll show you that in a minute. I also mentioned bookmarks and live stream. So let's say you're hunting, you run a query, you find something interesting, and you want to flag it for later. You can do that by creating a bookmark from that event. And then you can take that bookmark and use it to start an incident investigation. So you can create a new incident based on this interesting or suspect event that you uncovered, or you can add it to an existing investigation. So what starts first? Detection and then investigation, or a detection and then hunting, or hunting and then an investigation. It's all kind of woven together, and the two things work nicely together. So regardless of where you're starting your experience, from investigating an incident or from hunting directly over data, the two things can be wed together. And then we also have a new ability to monitor a live stream of new threat-related activity. So you can define a query, and anytime new matches are found for the query, you can see those available in a live stream. So if you've got something in particular that you want to keep an eye on, live stream is a way to do that. And then Jupyter Notebooks. I mentioned these earlier. So Jupyter Notebooks can now be launched directly from Azure Sentinel. That's relatively new. And that makes it easy to create and execute Jupyter Notebooks to analyze your data. So Jupyter Notebooks combine live data and graphics and visualizations and text, which should make them a pretty valuable tool for a lot of threat hunters. So you can choose from a gallery of built-in notebooks, again, developed by Microsoft security experts and community members, or you can import others from GitHub to get started. These are really professional strength hunting solutions, and we use them ourselves within our own threat hunting teams. Time for another quick demo. Don't look up that question while I'm demoing here. Oops. So again, we're seeing a bit of a mashed up view of this just because I wanted you to be able to maybe see it from the back of the room. But what we've got here when we launch the hunting experience is that set of built-in queries that I mentioned earlier. And you can see what data source that's hunting over. You can see which tactics they're related to. You can come in here and just run all of the queries if you want, or we can choose to run just a specific query. So this one is looking for suspicious network traffic patterns using a time delta analysis. And so we run that and we see some interesting events firing. And I showed you a bit of a preview of this earlier, but from here we can add a hunting bookmark for this. And again, we want to, as much as possible, map that to related entities so that we'll get the benefit of those in the investigation graph later. For the essence of time, I'm just going to go ahead and click Save on this and move on. So now that that bookmark is saved for me, I can take action on it. So I can create a new incident on that and begin further investigation. I can add it to an existing incident as well. Okay. Where can you find and share hunting queries for Azure Sentinel? There was someone in the back of the room earlier. If you know the answer, I'm happy to, don't want to ignore you over there. Okay. GitHub. GitHub is the answer. You are correct. Hundreds of contributions, including data connectors, workbooks, analytics, rules, queries, parsers, functions, all of this are available on our GitHub repo, and we strongly encourage you to share your expertise and knowledge by contributing there as well. Incidents. So I talked earlier, oh, I did it again. Okay. So we talked earlier about detections. Detections, either a single detection or multiple detections, can be fused together into incidents. And from the incident, we can begin an investigation experience. So I mentioned earlier the ability to do this in a graph, and that's what we're looking at here. So we've got an anonymous login attempt, and we see a couple of related entities, a user, who was the user account that signed in, and the machine that they were signing into. And so we can begin our investigation for looking for additional information. Are there any other alerts firing related to this machine? And in fact, we see that there are. And we can click in on those to learn more. Here we can see that there was a connection to a malicious URL. Looks like we also see a suspicious PowerShell. I'm going to go back to this suspicious URL entity. Yeah. And I want to view related entities. What's interesting here is we talked about earlier that new URL entity, and we see that this particular alert is mapped to a URL entity. And when we click in on that URL, we see the results of automated built-in detonation. So when you create an analytic rule that maps to a URL, Azure Sentinel will automatically detonate that URL and share the results with you here. This is incredibly powerful. So here we can see the destination URL. Looks a bit suspect. And we can see this is actually the URL that showed up in the alert. But this is where it took us. And this is what that looked like. So very, very quickly, we know that this is a malicious URL, and we can take action. We can also trigger automated playbooks from the same experience. I'm running a little bit tight on time, so I'm not going to show you that, but similar kind of experience that we saw earlier. We can click in, view our list of playbooks, and sort of go from there. And we're actually going to pivot over and talk about those here next. But before we do that, we have another, and this is our big grand finale, $100 prize here. There's a big hint in what we just looked at, so hopefully someone will get this. Defenders think in, and attackers think in.
Lists and graphs.
Yes, who was that? Yes, that is correct. Infamous John Lambert of the Microsoft Security and the Microsoft Threat Intelligence Center said that defenders think in lists and attackers think in graphs, and that's why we built our investigation experience around graphs. Automation is the last piece of the puzzle, and we've talked a fair amount about that already. I'm incapable of clicking the right screen button today. Okay. So automation and orchestration done using integrated Azure Logic Apps. Hopefully you guys are familiar with those with Azure Logic Apps. They're pretty cool. They enable you to create these orchestrated playbooks that can execute a series of steps. There are 200 connectors that are available for a wide variety of third-party, Microsoft and third-party solutions, enable you to build out these automated workflows. There are samples available in our GitHub that you can use to quickly create your own playbooks. And as we mentioned earlier, you can trigger those from an alert or an investigation. And I just want to encourage you to think about automation and playbooks a bit more broadly than just remediation. I mentioned that earlier, but we're seeing lots of different use cases for playbooks, and that starts with incident management. So the ability to assign an incident to an analyst, to open a ticket in ServiceNow or Jira, to keep that incident status in sync, to post it in a Teams or a Slack channel. Another important area for automation is enrichment and investigation. So being able to look up a geo for an IP address, for example, or to trigger an automated investigation in Microsoft Defender ATP, or to send a verification email to a user. So if you see a suspicious login, you can send that user a notification and say, hey, was this you? And if they say, no, that wasn't me, you can get that assigned to an analyst. You can reset that user's password or apply conditional access. And then finally, of course, remediation, which is also super important. So you can do things like blocking an IP address, maybe in your on-prem firewall, and in your endpoints using the Graph Security API, triggering conditional access, isolating a machine, those sorts of things. And since we saw that earlier, I'm not going to spend very much time on the demo. 45 minutes is just not much time. And I hit the wrong button again. Okay, so just a quick view of a playbook for those of you who haven't seen it before. So again, it's going to orchestrate a series of steps. That's going to start with an Azure Sentinel trigger, in this case based on an alert. And you can see how the sequence sort of flows. You can open an incident in ServiceNow. You can post in a Teams channel. Here's the approval email that you can send to the user. So you can see that can be populated with different details pulled from the Azure Sentinel alert. You can apply conditions. So if that user says in that email, yes, it was me, you can decide to take different action based on that. If it was not to them, you could block that user in Active Directory. If it was them, you could just close the incident out. Nothing more to do there. Lots of powerful capabilities in Azure Logic Apps, and they're built in to Azure Sentinel. So I wanted to give you just a quick glimpse of the roadmap as we get ready to close. We have delivered a ton of stuff since we launched public preview at RSA last year. Lots and lots and lots of new connectors, lots of new detections, the investigation graph and entities. We're constantly adding more entities. Workbooks, which provide a much richer set of dashboarding and visualization capabilities, and much, much more. You can sort of read down the list. You might be asking what's coming next, and that is more data connectors with more Microsoft services, more third-party security technologies, Logstash, more built-in detections, both rule-based and ML. You'll continue to see innovation there. Just like when Mystic detected activity for the phosphorus group, they instantly built into Azure Sentinel new rules to help address that threat. So you can just expect that to continue to happen on an ongoing basis. I mentioned the first use cases for leveraging Microsoft threat intelligence inside of Sentinel, and you'll see more scenarios around that light up. The ability to bring your own ML models. We're going to support much, much richer level of threat intelligence data, the full STIX object, more user entities, and much, much more. So lots of stuff coming down the pipe. Finally, I want to encourage you to check out some of the other Azure Sentinel sessions. We didn't go very deep today into Jupyter Notebooks in particular, and we have some really smart people here from our Mystic team that are doing sessions. We have some partners that are really invested here as well. So I wanted to call out the threat hunting sessions that leverage Jupyter Notebooks. And then the other one, if you're interested in learning more about Sentinel, that I just strongly encourage you to attend is Nicholas's session on Thursday, the Get Instant Value from Your SIEM. He has been working with many, many customers on real deployments, and I think has some really valuable real-world advice that you can apply to your own Azure Sentinel deployment. So encourage you, if there's interest in either of those, to invest some time in that. Lots of resources to help you get started. And I'll leave you with the evaluation slide and just a couple of words, which is to say thank you so much for investing your time here. Again, the level of energy and enthusiasm around Azure Sentinel has just been overwhelming, and we're really excited about where this is going and hope to continue that journey together. Thank you so much.